Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic. We're here with a really exciting feature here today. We recently had a chance to attend Generation Jurassic, a fan event at Universal Studios Hollywood, where Mattel was on hand for some fun toy reveals and toy showcases like this excellent setup they had there featuring little dioramas of a bunch of figures that are out now and coming out soon to Target stores. We got Therizinosaurus here, recreating the scene with Claire in the mud there. I love the little clever setup. They also had in hand the new Sarah Harding Stegosaurus set, so we got an up close look at that baby Stegosaurus and the adult, as well as the Sarah figure. Also had the Owen escape pack, which we know that scene in the trailer is getting a lot of love, so seeing the toy all set up is always a fun time. They also had a new figure for Kayla on display that we hadn't seen yet. This is the pilot, the new character from Jurassic World Dominion. The likeness looks great. She's got that flight jacket. Her hairstyle looks great. And again, an all new figure that we'll be getting as a 2-pack later on this year. They also had the Sorna escape pack with Roland and the truck and the Parasaurolophus, something we've reviewed on the channel. Awesome toy, and they had to have that set up since it is a Target exclusive. Also had the kitchen, the Legacy kitchen pack with Lex and Tim. Love the little floor tiles and the raptor kind of looming behind the cabinet there. It was just a really cool setup all the same. All these different figures and little dioramas, and I think everybody really got into it. It was a great kind of in-person experience to check out. But besides that, Mattel at the event was really there for the live panel, the Behind the Gates live panel put on by Chris and Jurassic Outpost, which was a ton of fun. And there was even a surprise guest from the Dominion movie. We just talked about her toy, but it's DeWanda Wise in the flesh live at the panel, which was really fun. And she even got a chance to look at her own action figure on stage, which was just a really cool experience. But heading into the panel, there was also some new reveals. We have the massive action Amplesaurus here, nice development sheet showing a lot of specifications of the figure, including the range of motion, sort of the overall length, the research that went into some of the sculpt and color detail. Really interesting to see these behind the scenes looks, and this figure looks awesome. It's huge. It's massive action, so it's going to be a big one. And this is sort of our first official look, I would say, on this new species coming to the line. In that same regard, we had I think this is the Siamosaurus. Hope I'm saying that right. A sort of a Spinosaur look-alike, but on all 4 legs, so it's a little bit different than Spinosaurus. Also, the research sheet kind of showed how they took inspiration from a lot of different amphibians for this one, but another big, massive action figure, so expect this one to be a little bit sizable. And they go through the range of motion on this figure and the kind of color research as well. So 2 big figures coming from Mattel. There were a couple other things they covered. Of course, they talked about Atrociraptors. I believe there's all 4 figures are coming, but they just showed this one slide, some of the different poses of them. There's like a standing pose and a running pose and a crouching pose. So we're going to get a few different versions of Atrociraptor coming up, and this was just kind of showing how some of those figures were coming together. They also took a second to talk about how many human characters they've made over the years with Mattel Jurassic. This is all the current characters, but they promised there are many more on the way. But it was kind of cool to see basically every figure they've ever created lined up here for just for all to see. So more on the way on that. So we'll definitely keep everybody updated on what's coming, including here we got Maisie and Owen. These are 2-packs on the way. Cowboy Owen looks like a ton of fun. Comes with a lasso. Parasaurolophus does have some wild colors. It looks like it's a repaint of the Isla Sorna capture pack version. But yeah, those colors are just wild. So we'll wait to see what the final figure looks like before we judge too much. But Maisie over here, sporting her look from the Dominion film, comes with Beta again, but also Listosaurus. I hope I'm saying that right. Also known as Lydia. But that figure looks awesome. So she's going to come with both figures apparently, which is kind of a nice bonus to get 2 dinosaur figures with 1 human. We also talked a little bit about the Pyroraptor. The panel showcased the research sketches for that, as well as some color. You can't really see the actual figure. You can get an idea of it from the illustrations on the right. But this one's still coming. I think this is going to be a 2-pack figure as well. But it looks like it's got some nice articulation and a pretty decent likeness for the dinosaur in the movie. And I know a lot of people are really excited about Pyroraptor. It's one of the few Dominion trailer species we haven't got our hands on yet. We also talked about Hammond Collection, and big spoiler, T-Rex was probably stole the show. It looks like an awesome figure, so the Hammond Collection T-Rex is on the way. But we also talked a little bit about some of the other figures coming: Stratosaurus, Triceratops, Dilophosaurus with interchangeable frill, and also talked a little bit about Gallimimus too. And they actually had the Gallimimus figure on hand. Raphael, one of the Mattel designers, actually brought it in his pocket and was like, "Oh yeah, this is perfect to feed the T-Rex too." So you get a kind of a blurry but decent picture of the Gallimimus on the way for Hammond Collection. So all that awesome articulation, all for $12.99. Pretty impressive, and obviously excited to track down a herd of those. But really, back to Rexy, she was definitely the kind of the queen of the toy reveals, because this Hammond Collection one looks like the definitive figure to end all definitive figures for the T-Rex. It's got a ton of articulation, it's got glass eyes, all kinds of stuff, and we actually got a chance to look at it in person, which we'll cover a little bit later in the video, so you can kind of see all those features in like kind of real time at the display at the show. So T-Rex Hammond Collection, very exciting. But let's take a second to go back to Generation Jurassic as a whole. This happened. This was an after-hours event, but they still had tons of stuff for us to do. They had, a blue meeting experience. They had some other dinosaurs out walking around, which was super fun. Probably a highlight for myself was that the ride itself was open for us to ride, and since there wasn't, a ton of people there, you were basically able to ride it again and again and again, which is what I did. I rode it about 6 times, I think, maybe more, and it's a fantastic ride. It's a repurposed Jurassic Park River Adventure, but they really went out of their way to add a bunch of cool stuff like this Mosasaur experience, and they got a lot of clever things from the original ride, as well as some refreshes as well. But the finale is definitely the showstopper. I mean, this Indominus Rex animatronic they have, it's so massive. It comes out over the ride and it looks like it's about to eat you. It's probably the coolest part, and that's something I hadn't seen before. Of course, they still got T-Rex there, and they do a nice little battle at the end. But yeah, that ride is obviously a blast, and again, I couldn't stop riding it over and over again. And honestly, riding it in the evening, the lighting was a little bit different. It was a really interesting way to experience the ride, and I couldn't help but ride it over and over again. But outside the ride, they had even more displays set up. Target had a ton of stuff set up that's probably coming this summer, since it's not out yet. A lot of bedding and clothes and apparel, accessories, all that stuff. I did spot a couple interesting new plushes on the way. I love that Brachiosaurus there, a classic silhouette from the Jurassic film. They also had some props, actual props on hand, including Ellie Sattler's outfit. They also had Alan Grant's hat from Jurassic Park 3. They had Hammond's cane from Lost World. I assume he had the cane in Lost World at some point, so they had that. They also had the Barbasol can and some raptor eggs, and they also had a suit from Ian Malcolm that he wore in Fallen Kingdom. If you remember, when he was kind of doing his deposition, he was wearing a suit. So they had a nice, from different movies, a nice selection of props. They also had some Lego on hand, like the gate set, a full-size Lego Blue, which was a ton of fun. I've never seen that in person, so it was cool to see that. And they also, the Lego stuff was really focused on that Target exclusive T-Rex, I said gate, but T-Rex fence breakout. But let's talk about that Hammond Collection T-Rex. That's probably why everyone's tuning in. We did get the chance to see that in person, and it is just such a beautiful figure. The paint detail is exquisite. The sculpt, obviously you can see in the photos, is just incredible. Mattel never had a problem with the T-Rex sculpt in the first place, but adding all this articulation is just an added bonus. And those glass eyes have to be seen to be believed, because they catch the light just perfectly, and they really add some believability and sort of realism to the figure that isn't present on any of the other figures. But here's a nice view of the box too, which looks just as premium and deluxe. It's just going to be an amazing figure. But I think that's all I got. This was a ton of fun. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.